Hi, my name is Amy, and let's make some bad financial decisions together. So, today I made a comment on Reddit and I said I was targeting 55% distribution rate monthly. And someone replied to me, if you get 55% on an annualized basis per month, you'll be the first trillionaire in 30 years like doing this stuff. And I had a few reactions to that. The first one is please don't. Please don't threaten me with a good time. But also, I have never looked at Yieldmax and thought, yeah, I'm going to get 100% yield for the next 5 years. Yieldmax does not make it easy for me to project what I'm going to get out of it. But the other reaction was I was actually being kind of conservative because Nvidia is over here at 125% dividend rate. Amazon's at 40. We have Google. Coin is also at 102%. Like, you can keep on going. And, some of these, they have good months and they have bad months. And we have, 99, 100%, 87% yield, almost 60% yields. Um, it's If you have a mix of these, it's really not that far-fetched to have 55% distribution a month for the near future, at least. I can't guarantee anything, but until there's a major bear market, like, nobody knows how these are going to react. But for now, I'd rather have 102% distribution rate now rather than pick something more conservative and miss out on a lot of money. So that's just my personal opinion on that. But another thing I always hear about Yieldmax in general is, well, if this fund is so good, why are more people not in it? Like, if everyone could get 102% distribution rate, and this, it doesn't take a lot of effort or knowledge, why isn't everybody doing it? And have you ever heard of the adoption curve? So, there's this bell curve for technology adoption. And this type of covered call ETF is actually only a few years old. So I don't know if we're in the innovators group, but we're probably in the visionaries, early adopters group. And there's going to be a lot of pushback. It's going to take about I would guess, 5 years and one major recession or bear market before people start taking these funds seriously. And that's because people have reputations to protect. And people would rather buy a Starbucks coffee than a learning course if they're both the same price, because they know what they're getting from a Starbucks coffee. They don't know what the value is of this learning course. So, what that means is if you invest in the S&P 500 into View or SPY, you know that you're getting the return of the market. So, when there's a recession and the fund crashes, when it pulls back 30%, you should hold because it's the market. There's no bad investment. It's the market. It's just going bad. But if you were in the same recession and Yieldmax goes down, like it's insolvent and the fund goes away, everybody's going to say, well, we told you that Yieldmax was a bad investment. So I don't know. I think it's very interesting that I understand and I empathize with skeptics. And I know that 100% yields are not sustainable and they sound ridiculous and they break dividend calculators. But the truth is, like, NVIDIA has been doing 100% return for months. And I would rather not sit on the sideline and go, well, yeah, that's obviously a scam and not look into it at all. I'd rather look into it and say, oh, okay, it's a synthetic cover call. What does that mean? Oh, it's not based off of earnings or cash flow or whatever that makes it would have been a yield trap for a traditional dividend that is based off of a business. And then, oh my gosh, it's so risky, but it's actually relatively less risky than me doing options on Mr. And that's the point. Like, I need income, and Yieldmax is really good at doing income. So I really think that once there is more data and these get more established and there is an appetite for these high income ETFs because these funds keep coming out with new versions of them that are all slightly different, that are experimental, and we're getting more of a choice of where we can put our money. So I think we're just a few years early to credible people recommending this. It doesn't fit in the traditional investment portfolio because things that generate income, like do dividends, are usually value stocks, and those value stocks are usually less volatile, so they help maintain the size of your portfolio in a down market. But income ETFs, they cap the up. Well, they're working on not having the caps be so bad, but the growth is capped and the downside is not protected at all. So you move with the market, and so it's not perfect, but I think with 100% yields, 70% yield, and 60% yields, people will find a way to fit it into their portfolio because that compound interest is absolutely insane. I had pulled up other funds too because, I mean, Yieldmax is only one of these options. You do have FEPI, which I think is it's at like a 25% dividend rate and distribution rate, and it's not outrageous. You're still going to make a lot of money, but this holds the NAV much better because it's only at 25%. Or QDTE, which does the 0 days to expiration, so you get exposure to the overnight market. And they actually had a really good month this month. It was like a 50-cent distribution, and yeah, it was 56 cents, almost 57 cents, and that's like not quite double the week before, but they've been doing, between 30 and 40% distribution, and all of a sudden they have a 60%. So, and the market's been really crazy this month. So for it to be this consistent and for it to more or less keep its NAV, like that's super cool. And like SVOL is just they literally take the volatility and they give it to you as income, or Theta, which does treasuries but for income. So I just don't think, given the current environment, saying you're going to target 55% is that outrageous. Although it's making me kind of self-conscious about how I'm actually going to use it for income. It's like, wow, if you didn't spend any of it in 30 years, you could be a trillionaire. But the argument with that is like, yeah, but then in 5 years, I would, I don't have to work, and that is enough money. So maybe I'm being short-sighted, but my plan is to, take the dividends and not 100% reinvest in Yieldmax. Once I've hit my financial goals or the income goals, I'm going to expand out into a more traditional 3 fund portfolio and more conservative things, and then also some like leveraged ETFs, because why be satisfied with what you have? But I think a lot of people are just, approaching this as a wait and see, but well, yeah, maybe someday another video will be like, what are scams and why is Yieldmax not a scam? But I think that people are very correct to being skeptical of high income ETFs, and that we should all be careful before we put our money into things. On the other hand, it is a lot of dividends, and a lot of these are actually preserving their NAVs. So, if the share price doesn't go down, I mean, it will be cyclical, but if it doesn't have a downtrend and you're getting a lot of money, then, there's really just not that much downside. Anyway, if you made it to this part of the video, thank you. Do you think that we are in the innovators or the early adopters stage of Yieldmax and other high income ETFs? And do you think that people will... Here's the thing though. Even if it's the correct financial move, it's not necessarily the it's not the best financial advice. We don't know what your risk tolerance is. We don't know what your life situation is. What are your responsibilities? What are your debts? So that's why most people stick with, just VU and chill. Just do the 3 fund portfolio. You'll be fine. Trust the process. In 30 years, you will be good enough. But with current technology and all the information that's available to us, why not try to earn more? Just a little bit more, not a lot more. Don't get too greedy. But I think that Yieldmax and these things are just in the early adoption phase, and there's going to be a lot of pullback for 4 years. So anyway, thank you for watching. Bye.